Okay. All right, stop.
Right. Welcome.
It's like Dumb and Dumber.
Welcome to an episode of Not Suitable for Adults.
Yay. We did it.
We're
My
doing
throat's
it.
funky.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I forgot how to podcast.
We did. Yeah. Her voice is like, wait, why are you talking?
Yeah, welcome. We're the podcast where we do talk about the kids things.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't been very consistent lately.
Well, that's our jam now.
But, well, I don't want to, commit to...
No.
Now you'll never know when you get an episode.
The reason why, we're even really able to be doing this right now is because we've put ourselves under extremely precautionary quarantine.
Yeah, someone got it, and then... You were
I was in the vicinity,
in the same room, but not in close contact,
right?
And then we were near people who had been in close contact. So we just to be sure, we feel
everybody's
fine.
Fine.
We're good.
Yeah, even everybody's okay. So we're good. But I mean, we had lots of plans this weekend that we were gonna do, and we just decided, you know what? Nope.
Let's not.
And so. I think it was kind of like a forcible slow down. Forced slow down for us. Which is good.
Yeah. And it let us talk to you, dear listener.
Uh-huh. Sorry if I clear my throat a lot. I've just had the changing of the weather.
Yeah.
Crud.
We're in the in between time in Tennessee weather where it's still right now. It's still warm outside. It's not hot. And
it's cool. It's cool enough to have a light sweater in the mornings, but if you have on that light sweater by the time it turns, 11, noon, 1, you're going to burn up.
Yeah. So
and then in the evenings it's nice again.
Yeah, it's the brief period of time where you can't know. You can't prepare for the whole day.
You see, in Tennessee we have summer.
For the most part.
Summer. We have a week of autumn, and then we have ice.
Yeah, right now the leaves are falling. This is it. So we're enjoying autumn until inevitably next week it drops below freezing.
Right. And it's very rarely do we get a super good snow here. We did last year.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just ice. Mm-hmm. And then it's just ice, summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that'll be fun. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to us talk about the weather. You presumably came here to listen to us talk about a show or a movie, and we're going to talk about 2 movies.
Yes. But again, our forced kind of slow down, we decided to watch a couple of movies. One that I had been looking forward to and really wanting to watch, and we had just not had the time. And another that we just happened to be sitting there while Cora was watching something.
Like the old days.
Like the old days. Yeah. We're also on fall break now, too. So...
Yeah.
Cora's been in school. We haven't been watching a lot of kids programming.
Yeah.
Because Cora's been in school. And when she gets home, she wants to chill and watch Bluey. And we've already talked a million times about Bluey. So.
We could do it. We could talk about Bluey again.
All day.
I did see, we're talking about Bluey. Mm-hmm. I did see a TikTok the other day where someone it was someone had stitched a video, and the first one was has anyone else watched this show Bluey? It's it's a kid's show, but it seems like there's a bunch of stuff in there for parents, and then the stitch cuts in, and it's this woman. She goes, "No, listen. Mm-hmm. Bluey is not a kid's show. Mm-hmm. Bluey is a parenting show." Mm-hmm. And it's just got kid stuff in it. It's like a Pixar movie. It's for the grown-ups.
None of us can live up to the standards of the parenting that is involved in Bluey, though.
No, and that's depressing because also we see the parents in Bluey fail sometimes.
Right. Right.
They're not perfect, and we still can't quite do what they can do.
What must we be?
Anyway, let's talk about what we watched this week.
Okay.
Starting with Cruella de Vil.
Well, that's not the name of it.
Cruella de Vil.
It's just called Cruella.
Yeah, Cruella.
And I like how she says it. She says Cruella.
Yeah. Starring Emma Stone.
Amazing. She's always good.
On Disney Plus. Actually, I think this is like I think I love Emma Stone. I think she's great. I feel like this was a step for her. I feel like this is a big step up. A big step up. Yeah.
Well, we haven't necessarily seen her in her super dramatic roles.
Yeah.
We've seen Emma Stone in a lot of the lighthearted things, and she's been in a lot more dramatic things that we just haven't been as interested in watching.
Yeah.
But this was she did really well.
Yeah, she does a really good job. She here's what I thought was interesting, just to kind of like.
This is spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil this.
We're gonna spoil Cruella. So if you haven't seen Cruella, it is on Disney Plus, and you can just skip ahead to the next movie, which you're not gonna care if we spoil.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
unless you're really into the lore or something.
So this is Cruella spoilers.
All right, so this is if it's not clear, it's the origin story of Cruella de Vil.
Yes,
and it begins by talking about this. It shows this like little girl, and she sort of has this thing where she's like a genius, and she and her mother are very into fashion, and she has like a hard time at school because she's so smart.
She's so smart, and therefore she does not conform to the rules set before her.
And so her mom is like, she says something, and she goes, "Dear, your name is Estella, not Cruella." Mm-hmm. And then it becomes this thing where it's like, okay, you're going to school, leave Cruella at home, and just take Estella with you to school. And so it sets up this, like, there are two sides to this person.
It's a dual personality, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
I love that Cruella is actually another personality of a person. She's never just been Cruella.
Right. And and the thing is, like, until
right.
like, yeah. And so, but yeah, this is the thing is that, something bad happens. They have to like leave the little town where they're living.
She's expelled from school
because she's expelled, and her mom goes, "Okay, we need to make a stop so that I just need to ask a favor of a friend."
Which, by the way, Estella / Cruella, her hair is
naturally black and white.
Naturally divided in the middle, black and white.
Yeah,
just that's an important part of this story is that's how she was born.
Yeah.
With half black, half white hair.
And so they stop at this big manor and the mom is off talking to a very important looking lady. And Estella decides she's going to break in and like see what all's going on because there's a fashion show going on. And she's very into that. And so she comes in and causes a huge mess, a big whoa at the party, and she has to make a run for it, and she's actually like chased by these Dalmatians, who are like the pets,
terrifying Dalmatians.
Yeah, they're very angry and very mean looking Dalmatians. And so she has to run, and while she's running away, they sort of break off from her, and they see her mom with this like regal looking lady, and they run past her to her mom and knock her mom over a cliff. And that's the end of Estella Cruella's mom. And so she says, and so I did the only thing I knew how to do. I ran. Emma Stone, like,
her voice is so good.
Her haughty British accent, and this is really
so
fun.
Good.
And so she runs to London. She makes her way to London and becomes a street urchin / underground
With Horace and Jasper.
With Horace and Jasper. She runs into little children, Horace and Jasper.
Yes, they're just kids now. They're, what, probably 10 or...
The Wikipedia page says she's 12 at this point.
Oh, 12. Okay. She looked younger to me, but that makes sense. We have to also mention that when she was in, like, her prep school, she made friends with Anita Darling.
Yep.
As a child. And, like, she would, like, protected her from Estella protected Anita from a lot of stuff. And that a lot of times would get her in trouble because she would fight the mean boys.
Right. So they become this, like, this little sort of like Oliver Twist style gang of thief children and grow up together, and they're like a little family,
right?
And
like 10 years later, where it's kind of like, and that's how we grew up. We grew up stealing things that we needed, and then later sort of stealing things that we just wanted.
Yeah, and sort of her role in the gang was to make their disguises because she was such a good clothing designer,
right?
I'm gonna kind of yada yada forward a little bit because Jasper gets, is it Jasper? Yeah, Jasper gets Estella an interview at this like really nice posh clothing store.
Not an interview. He gets her the job.
That's right. He gets her the job. He just drops her accepted resume in the resume box. That's right.
Yeah.
There's like a little scene of him breaking in and doing that.
Yeah.
And so she gets this job and she goes in and she's just like a cleaning lady at this at this clothing store. But she's constantly trying to impress the manager, and the manager's a very snooty guy. This is all set in like the 60s and 70s, by the way, just for context. And so he's very snooty, and finally one night she's staying late and cleaning and just decides she's gonna like break into his liquor cabinet and she's gonna get a little bit sloshed, and then she like wanders into a window display and goes, "Ugh, this looks so bad, it's so dreadful," and like stays up all night in like a drunken stupor redesigning this window display. And when she wakes up in the morning, it's like a very fashion forward thing. And the Baroness, who's in charge of the store, and shocking, is who would have seen? This is one thing this movie doesn't do well. It doesn't hide. It in no way hides like what sort of the next.
We're not surprised to learn the next thing that
right.
is a shock.
So it turns out that there is a Baroness who's like over this store, and she's the fancy lady.
Well, she's the fancy lady from the beginning that was talking to the mom when the mom got knocked off the cliff.
Right.
But we're not supposed to really know that, but we do.
But the movie doesn't try to hide, like,
right.
When we
you
see
don't
the fancy
see the face.
When we see the fancy lady, but she's blurry. You can't see her, and then here is Emma Thompson, and you're like, oh, okay, she's the fancy lady.
Yeah, the Baroness. It's and her she's very clothing good line.
Also. Yeah, she's like the designer for this shop.
Emma Thompson. And what I loved about Emma Thompson in this role is that she is extremely fashionable. She's got the heels, she's got the dresses, she's got the makeup, her hair's all done. Like, and I feel like that's not a usual Emma Thompson type role. I feel like she plays a lot more quirky characters. I'm thinking, like Professor I can never say it. Trelawney.
Or Nanny McPhee.
Nanny McPhee. I'm also thinking like her in the Will Ferrell Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, sure.
Where she's the author. She always kind of plays, I feel like, quirky kind of characters but in this one she is fashionable and she is evil. And I felt like that was new for me to see, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
And she does very well.
She does a great job. And so she's like this she's this very haughty, very regal British lady. And she sees the window display and she loves it. And she's like, do you work here? And the manager's like, no, of course not. She's fired. And they're like, okay, well, you're hired over at my place. And
Yeah.
they give her a job on the spot at her like design
factory
house thing.
Yeah.
And there's a funny moment where they give her a card, and she takes a card, and her like assistant is like, Emma Thompson's assistant is like, be there at 5:00 tomorrow.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Monday. And she's like, okay, I'll be there. And so she shows up at 5:00 on Monday, and she goes inside, and clearly already for many hours, already work has been happening at this place.
She walked in, I was like, wow, there are people here at 5 a.m. And then we were like, whoa, no.
They're in the middle of work.
There have been people here since 5 a.m. the day before, it seems like.
So she comes on, and it's the beginning of like the winter design season, and so she's like, all right, everyone give me looks and
make it work.
Yeah, make it work. And she designs, she's very good, and Emma Thompson likes her a lot.
Yep. Yada yada yada.
Right, yada yada forward. And we more and more are finding out, like, in the story, like, all right, now here's another thing confirming, like, the thing that you guessed when you saw Emma Thompson on the screen, which is like, okay, now here's another thing that's like, oh, okay, she's this person. She sees that she's got this family heirloom necklace that was given to Estella, but she lost at that party. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh yeah, this was mine. My husband gave me this. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, that's confusing. Why does she think it's her family heir? Like, is she lying? Mm-hmm. Is it really hers? Is there some connection here? And it was at this point that Natalie and I were like, okay, one of two things is true here.
Yeah.
Either Estella is like the illegitimate child or grandchild or something of the Baron and the Baroness. Mm-hmm. Like the Baron stepped out with an employee or something and had an illegitimate child, and she is related to this royalty, or or she's like legitimately the granddaughter, and like the daughter ran away with her. And so that at that point we're locked in. It's gonna be something like that. It's gonna be one of those things. And we weren't far off, actually.
Weren't far.
So at this point, Estella decides, I'm gonna wreck this lady instead of.
Well, she finds out kind of like a truth about her, which is like that she ruined the life of who she thought was her mother.
Right. Well, and she did that, and then she also, like, there comes a point where she's got these same Dalmatians, like 10 years later.
These are some old Dalmatians.
Some old and very hardy Dalmatians.
Mm-hmm, very mean.
At one point she blows this dog whistle to like summon the dogs, and that flashes back, and Estella remembers the sound of that high-pitched dog whistle, and she realizes that not only did she like mess up her whole childhood and her mother's, like, the woman who raised her, her life, but also she like summoned the dogs. It wasn't that the dogs were chasing Estella and like got distracted and went over and killed this other person. It's that they were specifically summoned by the Baroness to knock her off of the cliff.
Yeah.
And so finally Estella's like, okay, I'm done here. Like, we're gonna ruin this lady. I'm gonna get what's mine.
And then she turns into Cruella.
But to do that, she must become Cruella. And so she sets Estella aside, and Cruella takes over. And Cruella is a lot like the Baroness.
Cruella is crazy.
There's a thing that we said.
And she's fabulous.
Yeah. Natalie pointed out, and I had actually been thinking this for most of the movie. There's this really good scene. It's not, I guess it's a montage kind of. There's a sort of montage scene of like Cruella coming onto the fashion scene and sort of showing up the Baroness. So she's very, like I said before, like super fashion forward and very sort of like, what's the word? It's like avant-garde kind of. And so everything
I'm so proud you know that.
Thank you. And so the Baroness will like keeps trying to have these shows, and then the Cruella will mess it up or crash it or something, and do something way over the top and better.
Upstage her completely.
And Natalie goes at one point, she goes, I feel like this is Disney's The Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, 100%. I've been thinking that for a while now. It is, she goes through very much the same kind of thing where it's like, I'm nuts and I'm leaning into it now.
Right.
Like,
right.
And we even say by the end, because they clash several times throughout the rest of the movie. What's funny is that these characters are actually two very similar characters, the Baroness and Cruella. And the difference between them is that the Baroness is evil and knows it, and Cruella is crazy and knows it. Like, Cruella isn't pure evil. Even like that's one thing that
she can't be pure evil because she has fondness and love in her heart for the woman that raised her, right, and for Horace and Jasper, who help her through everything. And even
Anita, like.
Oh,
Anita?
Yes.
Like
Anita,
even still, because Anita comes back around. We had like Anita is in the story as like
a reporter.
This reporter who, and we also see the other. What's the other guy's name? Roger. We see Roger too. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He's like the Baroness's lawyer until he gets fired, and then he's kind of out of the story.
It's just a fun little things like here's this person, here's Roger, here's why she hates Dalmatians, like here's why Horace and Jasper just follow her when there's there's a bit of conflict because Horace will just follow. Jasper is a lot smarter. He's like trying to help Estella, and when Estella gets put aside, he's not as into Cruella but then when they get captured and taken prisoner, they get captured and taken to jail, she like comes and breaks them out of jail, and after that point he's just like, this is who she is now. We're going to follow her because we're a family. He's still
not a huge fan of Cruella.
Right.
But he does still see Estella at that point. 'Cause it's like he realizes, okay, because Cruella acts like when Cruella is talking to Jasper and Horace, she's a lot like from the cartoon. She's mean and she treats them like henchmen. Yeah. But then like when the cards are all down, she still is going to come and get them because they're a unit.
And she calls them like her family.
Right.
She needs them. She says she needs them, which I liked that. I liked that even in her Cruella persona, she has fondness for these people that she grew up with. And she's not going to treat them well all the time.
Right.
She's crazy, and like they're not going to be satisfied with some of the things she does, but they're in it together.
By the way, the reason Jasper and Horace go to jail is nuts. Also,
right?
The Baroness breaks into their house after
realizing that Cruella and Estella are the same. Yeah,
she tracks them down, and her and a bunch of her like thugs come to their place, and they're like, "Well," she's like, they're going to be arrested," and Cruella's like, "Well, why? That doesn't make any sense." They're like, "For your murder, of course." And and so the idea is that Jasper and Horace were supposed to be like street thugs, and they burned down Cruella's apartment, and Cruella was inside. Yeah, and that she was supposed to have died. Yeah, and she's like, I'll let the press know, and I've already called the police and all this stuff. And so the press all think, and London thinks that Cruella's gone, and they like people like Cruella. People think Cruella's cool, and so she kind of goes away. She gets rescued. We haven't talked about Mark Strong yet.
No, he's a part of the movie from the beginning. Yeah. When she's a little girl and she breaks into the fashion show, he sees her, grabs her, sees her hair, and immediately puts a hat on her and goes like, and says like, "You can't be here. You can't," like, and starts trying to get her out of the house. She breaks free, and that's when she runs away and sees that her who she thinks is her mom gets pushed off the cliff. All that.
So Mark Strong is like the Baroness's valet, her personal assistant.
Yeah. And so he ends up rescuing Cruella from her burning apartment. And then he's the one that tells her
the big news, which we all sort of guessed already, which is that Cruella is actually the Baroness's daughter. Yeah.
We were thinking more of like granddaughter.
Just because there's...
It felt like an odd age difference.
Yeah.
But we were thinking granddaughter. It was actually daughter. And a legitimate daughter with the Baron and everything. There wasn't any illegitimacy going on.
So the Baroness, there's a flashback. The Baroness has this baby and gives the baby to Mark Strong and is like...
And the baby has white and black hair.
And is like, get rid of her.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life.
Yeah. And he's supposed to have disposed of the baby.
So, but what he did was find a cleaning lady in the house, which is the woman who Estella thinks is her mom, and gave her to her and said, "Run, like take the baby and run." And so that's why that's how that all went down.
And that's why the white and black hair is important. Is that that's a recognizable thing,
right?
Only for him and for the people that knew that she was the Baroness's daughter, like the Baroness.
Right.
The Baroness knew, he knew, and the lady that raised her knew. So they were always trying to kind of cover her hair.
Yeah, so there's a point when Cruella first came on the scene where she's wearing her black and white hair openly. And because we didn't mention it, but she dyes her hair as
Estella. She dyes her hair red. Yeah.
But she's wearing her black and white hair openly. And Mark Strong and Emma Thompson are like, do you think that could be? No, can't be. Must be a coincidence. another.
Well, then, and by it doesn't take them long because then the Baroness is talking to him and says like, so when I said dispose of or take care of.
Yeah, she said like take care of this.
Yeah, you didn't understand what I was saying, and he was like, "Well, I thought you meant take care of her."
Well, but the thing is, like, he does it kind of dumbly. Like he knew what she meant,
right?
But he goes, "What do you mean? Surely you couldn't have expected me to know you meant kill your only firstborn baby."
And then she was like, okay. I guess we didn't know each other well enough or something. Yeah. I mean, she's pure evil.
Yeah.
So blah, blah, blah. I feel like we're talking about this a lot.
Well, we're spoiling the movie.
A lot. We're spoiling it so much.
You should watch the movie.
Yeah.
But we're telling you everything that happens because it's good and it's fun.
It's really good. So
anyway, there's a final confrontation.
Yeah.
Cruella comes back because she was saved. She comes back and she crashes this final like big.
It's a whole thing.
This big party back out at the big manor house where her mom died.
Yeah.
And she sets up this whole thing where she's going to confront the Baroness on the same like precipice that her mom was at, and she knows that the Baroness is going to try and kill her. And so she makes it where. And by the way, she sends black and white wigs to all the female invitees of this party, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And so like it looks like Cruella's there everywhere you turn. So she's outside, and they're like, the Baroness would like you to join her outside on the veranda. And like so the whole party comes outside, but far enough away that they can't see. And the Baroness does order her dogs again to push. No, she doesn't. That's right. She pushes.
Yeah. She pushes her off of the cliff.
Yeah.
Which Cruella was expecting.
Right.
And now we see as Estella.
Right.
So
she's wearing her red hair wig.
Yeah. She's Estella. She's there. All of the party guests are seeing this, and what they see is the Baroness just pushed one of her employees off of a cliff.
Right.
And so she's taken into custody. Estella actually has on like a parachute, which actually was.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some like corny things, but this is one of them.
That section was super CGI looking, And I feel like they could have done better.
Yeah.
That felt like okay, she's fine. We'll just throw away this scene really quickly. She's in a parachute and she lands in the water. But
yeah.
like, you could tell, no, like, that actress didn't do any of that. Which, I mean, I'm not saying she should have jumped off a cliff in a parachute to get a perfect shot or whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't look real.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, that part I was just like, eh.
So the Baroness is arrested.
Baroness is arrested.
There's dozens of witnesses that saw her do this thing, so she can't get out of it. And then it turns out that Estella, the rightful heir to the Baroness's estate, who's now dead in the public's eyes, had a last will and testament and left everything to Cruella de Vil. And she picks up the name de Vil. This is another corny thing.
From the car.
Like they swiped one of the Baroness's cars and it's Coupe de Vil. And they're like, oh, it's a de Vil. Haha. She's like, I like that. And so that just becomes her name. So she inherits this fortune and everything and gets to go on being
and
the new
she
Baroness,
even
basically.
changes the name at the front. It was called Hellman Hall, and she took the MAN off, and now it's Hell Hall.
Yeah.
So, and then like they just walk into their
after.
mansion and look around, and Jasper's like, "What's next?" And she goes, "I've got some ideas."
Roll credits. So it's a good one. This is a fun movie. It's good.
She does another thing.
Oh, right.
Another thing I really do enjoy about this particular movie is that she does capture those 3 Dalmatians that killed her mother, and she ends up like being able to command them herself. But there's a point where she crashes one of the parties and is wearing a Dalmatian coat, or a coat that looks like, and the Baroness says, she killed my dogs. She stole
my dogs and made a coat.
And we're to think, oh no, she went way too far off the deep end. And then it turns out she just did it. She didn't kill the dogs.
Well, even before that, the scene before that is like, she's talking to Jasper and she's like, they would make a beautiful coat. And he's like, what are you talking? No, you can't make a coat out of dogs. You can't do that. And she's like, I'm just joking. But like, there's this twinkle in her eye, like, and we're like, that wouldn't happen. And then the next scene, she's wearing the coat.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, but it's fake.
But then, I mean,
but then the dogs come back.
But then the dogs come back and they're actually like a part of her like little pet. They've got dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs are a big part of this movie. But it doesn't, that right there doesn't particularly flow into, then we have 101 Dalmatians. Well, which Cruella is actually trying to kill Dalmatian puppies.
So here's what I was thinking about, and I guess I haven't watched 101 Dalmatians in a while. So
I did not too long ago.
Okay. I was wondering if this wasn't supposed to be like both an origin story and also like an alternate retelling of, like, no, the details are wrong. This is like, yes, Roger was there, Anita was there, and there were Dalmatians involved, but she didn't steal Dalmatians from Roger and Anita. She stole the Dalmatians from this person, and there were only 3 of them.
Interesting.
Like, I was wondering if this is supposed to be like a real life retelling of the story.
Because what dog would have 99 puppies?
Well, but you remember from the movie, they have like a litter of like 13 puppies. And then the rest are just like, she had gathered already a bunch of Dalmatian puppies. And then they adopt them all at the end.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
and I just said that I
know.
I mean, and Horace and Jasper are going to bonk these puppies on the head and kill them and she's going to make coats out of them.
So I have a theory that this is meant to be like, but this is what really happened type of thing.
Interesting.
And maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I think we just don't want Emma Stone's Cruella to be the Cruella in 101 Dalmatians, because that would take something that was built in Cruella, a personality that was built in Cruella, and kind of just take some of that away.
And I think that's the thing for me about this, is that I like it a lot, but it's not consistent with, that's why I think it's got to be an alternate retelling, because otherwise these two Cruellas are very inconsistent with each other.
Yeah.
They're not the same person.
Yeah. They're crazy.
They're both crazy, but Cruella from the cartoon is evil.
Right.
And when you're at the end of this movie, you don't feel like Cruella's evil. You feel like she's an anti-hero.
Right. She's mean.
Yeah, she's not nice, but she's not evil.
She's not evil, though. She has a conscience.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I said it right. I have a really hard time with that word.
With conscience, cautious, and conscious, conscience, conscious, and cautious. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
I have difficulties.
Don't we all? But yeah, I think that's the thing about this, is that there are some things. It's a very origin story-y. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things, like every aspect of Cruella from the cartoon is in this movie. So like her being high fashion, her having the black and white hair that's explained, Jasper and Horace have a background, her freaking car has a background. Mm-hmm. They did the thing they do that movie makers do with origins, which is like, let's make sure we explain where everything came from. Mm-hmm. And which can get sometimes a little bit tiring. It doesn't get super tiring in this movie. I did like it, but it does. I don't know.
I didn't feel like it was pushy.
No, yeah. But they do. But
there were a couple of things. Yeah.
There's a couple of things like that.
Yeah.
But on the whole, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had fun with it.
Yeah. It's a recommend.
For sure.
Go, and also there's like, and then after you watch Cruella, then Disney Plus will be like, hey, we saw you watch Cruella. Here's all the 101 Dalmatian stuff we have. Mm-hmm. And there's like a million things. There's so many more things than even I thought there were.
Yeah.
And also they'll recommend The Lion King. That was in there too.
You like movies about animals?
So yeah, go watch this one. I know we just spent 30 minutes explaining it, but hopefully at some point you stopped and went, I should just watch this before I finish this episode.
And then you came back to us.
Or you can go listen now and go, oh, wow, they're right about all the things they said.
Oh.
Okay, let's take a quick break in Promoville, and then we'll come back and do another thing.
Okay.
And we're back. And now we're going to revisit the magical land of the My Little Ponies.
So this is the one that we did not choose to watch, but we were there when it was happening, and we kind of started going, oh, okay, so what's happening in this?
Yeah, okay, so that's the thing about this, and this is for me, and we said it when we did the My Little Pony episode a long while back. Mm-hmm. There's something about My Little Pony that I get. Like, and so, like, I don't mind watching My Little Pony.
Are you what did we talk about?
It's a brony. That's what it's called.
Right.
A grown man who likes My Little Pony. I'm not that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to collect the figures. I don't want to collect anything. Yeah. But I just get it when I watch the shows or the movies. I'm like, okay, I'm on board with who these people are, because there's something about it that I just get. I don't know. Okay. I just get it.
Okay. Yikes.
My Little Pony, A New Generation.
And this is a new movie, right?
Brand new. Just came out this year. We're going to spoil it.
I don't think they're going to mind us spoiling this one as much.
Here, I'm going to spoil it right now. You ready? Mm-hmm. The magic was friendship all along.
What?
So we're watching this with Cora.
And she's very into this.
She was very into it.
She usually doesn't sit and just watch movies, but this one she was sitting and watching.
I think it helps. I think this movie is like 70 minutes long. It's not,
oh, really?
Oh, no, it's 90 minutes long. Okay. So, yeah, it's a full-length movie.
Kind of a star-studded cast.
Yeah, it's got some good voices in it. We'll talk about them real quick. We've got Vanessa Hudgens is the voice of Sunny, who's the main character. Mm-hmm. I'll read everyone off. Everyone on here isn't recognizable by me. That doesn't mean they're not famous, but I just don't know all their names. Kimiko Glenn is Izzy Moonbow. James Marsden is Hitch Trailblazer. He's like the
sheriff,
the Earth Pony sheriff. Mm-hmm. Sophia Carson is Pit Petals. Liza Koshy is Zephyrina Zipstorm. Elizabeth Perkins is Phyllis Cloverleaf. Jane Krakowski is the queen of the Pegasi. Queen Haven. Ken Jeong is Sprout Cloverleaf, who's like he's
kind of the bad guy at the end.
He's the deputy for the Earth Ponies, and when James Marsden's character goes off to like find the other ponies who are like going around doing the story, Ken Jeong's character is left behind, and he kind of becomes like the dictator of the Earth Ponies, and yeah, it's funnier than it sounds.
Okay.
Phil Lamar is Alphabetal. He's a unicorn. Are you familiar with Phil Lamar?
No.
Phil Lamar, if I'm not mistaken, was on like Mad TV and a bunch of those like SNL sort of like I don't want to say like off-brand SNL, but SNL's like the most recognizable version of like sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
And that's what Mad TV was.
Yeah.
And so Phil Lamar was a mainstay on
Gotcha.
that. And then Michael McKean was Argyle Starshine, who is Sonny's father at the beginning, and he goes away. So if you know those names, great. The ones that we know are Vanessa Hudgens, James Marsden, Jane Krakowski, and Ken Jeong, and Phil Lamar. So the movie starts, and we're not going to do the full scene by scene with this one,
Right.
but the movie starts with like a version of animation that looks similar to what the current like My Little Pony show looks like, with the My Little Pony characters that are currently on the show. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go do this and that and blah blah blah, and then suddenly they start like, I'm gonna attack you, and they start fighting each other, and you realize that we're in the imagination of Sunny, and we pop out. And she's like playing with these little figurines with her friends. But the thing is, for some reason that no one knows, the Earth Ponies, which is another word for...
When we say Earth Ponies...
Which is another word for regular horses.
They're just horses.
This is what the people in this call the ponies that don't have horns nor wings are Earth Ponies.
Yes.
They're, for whatever reason, they think that unicorns and Pegasi are evil and mean and don't like them, and so they're scared of them. They're scared of the flying, and they're scared of the magic that comes from these sparklier pony versions. But Sunny and her dad believe that, well, that's not true. We were all friends once, and we could be again if we would just try. That's basically the whole idea. And no one really accepts that. No one thinks that that's okay. And she grows up that way. Like she goes from little kid to grown up. And anyway, I'm gonna quick yada yada through this one. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say? Something?
No, go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. A unicorn comes to town and everyone's scared of her, but she's nice. And they're basically like, she's like, Sunny goes, okay, well, can you show me how to use magic? And she says, we don't have magic anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. And basically what comes to light through dealing with her and sort of running away from the Earth Ponies who want to try and capture her, they end up going on this big quest across like the world. And it turns out that not only do the unicorns not have magic anymore, but also the Pegasi can't fly anymore.
So we find out that the Earth Ponies were raised to think that the unicorns and the Pegasi are evil, but each of those thought the other two was evil. So the unicorns think that the Earth Ponies and the Pegasi are evil, and the Pegasi think the unicorns and the Earth Pony. They all were led to believe that the two other factions of pony did not like them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a little band comes together. We've got a couple of Earth Ponies. We've got Sunny and James Marsden's character are there, and we've got a couple of Pegasi, and we've got a couple of unicorns, and so they find out that there are these crystals that used to go together for the Pegasi and the unicorns. They can see that these crystals, like there's pictures of them, and they can like, okay, they fit together, and so they're like, it must be that there must be magic involved in these crystals, and they got separated. We need to, if we can put them together, then the magic will come back. And so they go on a bit of a quest to go find these crystals. They find the crystals and they put them together, and what? No, it didn't work. And this was the point when Cora got very upset she was like, I thought they were going to have their magic back. And I was like, babe, they're going to have their magic. Don't worry. And she goes, how do you know? I was like, because the magic is friendship. And she's like, no, it's not. It's the crystals. I was like, babe, literally the name of the show is that you watch with My Little Pony is My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. That's the name of the show. And in that show, the magic is powered by friendship. And so they're going to be okay when they realize they're all friends. And so anyway, they discover that, oh, there's an Earth Pony crystal missing. And so they think that must be what they need to get together to make it work. And nope, that doesn't work either. And Ken Jeong's character is like tearing apart their like lighthouse that she lives in, where she's trying to make all this happen. And that doesn't work either. Why not? Because the magic is friendship. And they realized that about that time. They realized the way to get the crystals together is for all of us to come together. And that's what it's all about. And they're like, we can all be friends. And they kind of had this moment of feeling good. And then the crystals glow and come together. And everyone gets their magic and powers back except for the Earth Ponies who never had anything.
That's the thing. So this is the thing that I had the issue with. So Sunny is an Earth Pony.
Yeah.
I think when the crystals kind of glow, I guess the crystals knew who the most worthy of all the ponies was. Sure. I don't know. How did they know that? They don't know. But the crystals start doing this like circular thing around Sunny. And Sunny's kind of taken up. And suddenly she sprouts wings and a horn.
Yeah.
So she's not an Earth Pony anymore. She is a Pegasus unicorn. Pegasus.
Pegacorn.
She's a pony Pegasus unicorn. She's all of them. She is what you called the Avatar.
Yeah, she's the Avatar.
She's the pony Avatar. She has all of the things. And then the Pegasi, their wings kind of come out and they're able to fly now and they're flying around. And the unicorns, their horns start to glow and they're able to do magic with their horns.
Oh. It's called I knew that it would be in here. I had to look at it real quick. It's called an alicorn. An alicorn is a Pegasus and unicorn combination. An alicorn. Go on.
And I'm like, what do the Earth Ponies get? Nothing. They get friendship.
They get the friendship of these other more powerful ponies.
But everybody gets friendship.
Uh-huh.
Some of them get friendship and flying. Some of them get friendship and magic. And the Earth Ponies get friendship. Friendship and friendship.
Yeah. Well, and the Avatar gets to come from among them, I guess. Like they.
Yeah, but she's not really one of them now, is she?
I think so. I think she's everyone. I think she's all of them.
She's
right. She's the Avatar.
She's the Avatar. She's all of them, but she's not an Earth Pony.
You can't have unicorns without the pony part.
That's true. That's very true.
And they represent the pony part.
Unicorns are just ponies with horns.
So no, what I'm saying is,
you gotta have the pony part.
Without the pony part, you're just
a horn.
and so that's the part. That's the part of reality
that's the most important part. Is that they are the ponies.
That is true. You're laughing, but that's the truth. What is a Pegasus without the pony?
Oh my goodness. But still, the Earth Ponies get nothing.
They have the best part. They have the most important part, which is friendship, first of all, and also which is pony. They have pony. They get to be
the power of pony.
They get to be pony.
The power of friendship and the power of pony. Oh, they're sitting around going like, look at those guys. They think they're cool flying.
They needed friendship magic to be special. We were pony all along.
We've always been pony.
That is one thing so there's two things that I wish we could learn from this movie.
Oh my goodness.
One, we do learn one thing, and that's that friendship is magic.
We knew that.
Well, we relearn it. But I do wish I knew, because this is the kind of person I am. I do wish I understood like what the ponies feel like they got out of the final thing.
Right.
Because everyone's happy at the end.
They got friendship.
No, seriously, but I mean, yes.
Everyone's super happy at
Yeah.
the end. Like, yes, we did it. And and the Earth ponies are like, we did it.
Yeah, we also did it. We were the ponies.
We helped you get flying and we helped you get magic, and you'll just stay here. We're so happy.
So I wish I understood what the Earth ponies felt like they got out of it. And I also wish, because they don't go into this, how did this happen? How did they become not friends anymore? And how many years in the future are we from My Little Pony?
Well, oh, right. Because in OG My Little Pony, we have these characters. We have Pegasi and unicorns and Earth ponies, and they're all friendship.
They're all friendship, and they're all pony.
And they're all friendship. They're all pony. They're all together, and they're happy. So this is called the new generation, which means this is in the future. And
she has figurines of the My Little Ponies we know. So those are real people from their history.
Were you sitting in there when at the beginning when they explained why they broke up?
They don't explain why they broke up.
At all?
I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe you should read the plot summary real fast.
Should I read the whole thing out loud?
No, absolutely not. I read it to yourself.
Okay.
And then speak out loud the words that you have, the wisdom you have gleaned. But, so the whole scenario reminded me a lot of Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
The strings and all the different factions of the trolls, and then Poppy's trying to get all the trolls to be friends and gather all the strings together, and that's what kind of popped into my head, except instead of like 7, like how many, 5 or 7 different types of trolls, there's really only 3 types of pony. But it reminded me of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I thought that too. I the first time I saw part of this the other day with Cora, and then we watched it. I don't think she watched the whole thing the other day. So this is the first time we watched it all the way through. And I was thinking that. I was like, I wonder if there's a moment in this where we learn that the Earth ponies are really the root cause of all the problem. Like we learned that the Pop Trolls they were the problem
right
way back when, and then they have to be the ones to fix it. Like maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
But nope, that's not it.
Did you find anything?
Nope.
About why they divided?
Here's what it says. I'm just going to read the first part. It says, in the Earth Pony town of Maritime Bay, Mare, Argyle Starshine teaches his daughter Sunny Star Scout the tales of old Equestria. When Earth Ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns live together, most other Earth Ponies believe these are fairy tales and have grown up in fear of other pony races. Sunny hopes that the 3 races can be friends. Okay,
so this has to be super in the future.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give any history.
But not so far in the future that there can't be accurate figurine depictions of the My Little Ponies that we know.
Well, everybody grew up thinking, so I guess the history was lost.
Yeah.
But don't you want to know what happened to Twilight Sparkle?
Very much. I'm not kidding.
Applejack?
I want to know what happened.
And Fluttershy?
I want to know what happened to Rainbow Dash. And why... and why there's now another Pegasus that looks just like her. Okay, so this is actually also a really fun movie.
It is. It was fun to watch.
It's not a Pixar movie. It's not gonna make you cry or anything, but it's fun. It's very well animated.
You know what's gonna happen.
You know what's gonna happen the whole time, but you still are okay with watching it.
If you have to.
If you must. There have been some people who think that Netflix with this one is trying to do like a woke thing for kids. Because
political
there's
stuff.
There's a thing about maybe I missed it, but I saw someone say something about like with I think the Pegasi that like the people who don't believe that magic is real like are somehow equated to like science deniers in the real life,
anti-science,
and how like there's like everyone talking about the basically it's like everyone who doesn't believe that they can all be friends and that this history is real are like fake news people, and like
we've got in My Little Pony, A New Generation,
Yep.
Netflix decided, here's what we're going to do.
Finally, the vehicle.
They tapped their fingers together and went, ha. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to introduce children to fake news. We're going to introduce children to anti-science.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show how science and the church can't get along.
And we're going to do that with unicorns.
And we're going to do it with unicorns, Pegasi,
and regular
and
old
Earth
ponies. And also pony.
So that's what people think Netflix did.
Some people do think something along those lines.
Listen, I wouldn't put it past some people to go like, okay, I would love to further my agenda. This is the most power I have. I'm going to put it in the My Little Pony generation.
Yeah.
But also, everybody just needs to
Just
chill out. Calm down.
Calm your jets.
Seriously, go to your doctor, ask for a prescription. You need to chill out.
Let's see. Someone says, criticize the switch from traditional animation to creepily anthropomorphized digitally animated. What?
Oh, the animation was really good.
Yeah. Some critic did a bad job.
Well, critics, so it's their job, right? Critics have to criticize.
Mm-hmm.
But like, come on.
It hasn't made a lot of money, but that's because it came out on Netflix. And the music is fine. There's a couple of like, it's kind of musical-y. It's got a couple of songs like in there, but it's not a true musical. But it's good. I enjoyed it. I want to know. I need an in-between. I need to know what happened now. I want to know what war happened.
You need your Rogue One.
I need the Pony Wars.
Oh, no, it's not Rogue One.
No.
What's the in-between?
Well, Rogue One was in between.
Okay,
Solo was in between.
Okay, thank you. No, Solo was at the... Okay, never mind. Everybody just stop it.
Wait, no. We're talking about Star Wars again. Ah! Hey, before we go, I watched that Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus. Have you seen anything about it?
No.
It's 9 anime short films, like loosely.
Oh, is this why people are like, anime loves Star Wars people? Yeah. Star Wars people hate anime.
Yeah, there's a funny thing that happened. So it's 9 separate like animation houses. Like they all have very distinct styles.
Okay.
They each did like a 30-minute Star Wars
thing. Oh, that's kind of cool.
And what they did with it, and what I think was really cool, and what most, again, I always find myself like opposed to most Star Wars fans, but what a lot of Star Wars fans are not happy about that I think is really cool is they just said, here's what Star Wars is. There's the Force, there's Jedi, there's Sith.
Go.
Do whatever you want with that. They didn't say like you have to respect canon. You don't have to. You don't have to have. It doesn't have to fit into the story anywhere.
It's just for fun.
It's just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so none of these 9 stories actually exists in the Star Wars canon. They're just cool, fun Star Wars stories. Mm-hmm. And they're all very cool. They're all very distinct and very different. And they're a lot of fun. And there's a couple that I wish were part of the Star Wars canon because like they introduced some new fun lore. But yeah, there's a bunch of people who are like, I don't know, like this over stylized like Japanese style, like the anime style doesn't really fit with Star Wars. And there's people going back.
Who are you?
Well, first of all,
excuse me, who are you?
Yeah, first of all, who are you? And second of all, George Lucas is on record saying that his that Star Wars was originally inspired by Kurosawa films and like
nice
and like the Magnificent or like not Magnificent Seven Samurai, which is what Magnificent Seven is based on.
Right.
Like all Jedi are based on samurai.
Yeah.
Like all of that is based on Japanese culture. He took so much from like from so many cues from that style. And then people are like, I don't know, this doesn't really fit. It's like it's literally what it's from.
Okay, so here's what we've gleaned from this episode. Cruella, My Little Pony haters, and almost all Star Wars fans need to go get some Xanax.
Yeah, just chill out.
Have a hot cup of tea, take a nap, read a book.
Yeah.
eat your Xanax.
Just eat it, crunch it. This has been another episode of Not Suitable for Adults, and we were so happy to spend our time with you. Especially Natalie. You can hear the excitement in her voice. Thank you to Shad Warrell for creating the music that we use for our theme music. You can find him at soundcloud.com/Shad-Warrell, and there will be a link in the description for more of his stuff. I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Hopefully there will be another episode next week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thought she was background noise. We can hear into the living room from the office. And I thought at first she was crying really loudly because I have one ear open to listen for her and I have one ear with my headphone in it. And so I was starting to listen, and she is just cracking up laughing at what I assume is probably YouTube Kids or something. Sometimes she'll just be sitting watching YouTube Kids cackle with her headphones on and just start dying laughing.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. If you could hear that in the background, she's laughing, not in danger.
Yeah, she's fine. She's happy. She is Pony. I had to get Natalie while she had some tea in her mouth.
I just took a swig of tea.
All right. So yeah, just everyone
take some Xanax.
Take your Xanax, and don't forget that you are the boss.
So watch whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.